October 26, 1965, the quiet neighborhood of Indianapolis was forever changed by the discovery of Sylvia Likens' lifeless body. This 16-year-old girl's death, the result of unimaginable abuse and neglect, revealed the darkest side of human nature. Sylvia's story is a haunting reminder of the dangers that can lurk behind closed doors and the tragic consequences of unchecked cruelty. Born to working-class parents, Sylvia was a vibrant teenager with a kind heart, particularly close to her polio-stricken sister, Jenny, left in the care of Gertrude Baniszewski. Sylvia's life took a horrifying turn as she became the target of relentless abuse. Gertrude, her children, and their friends subjected Sylvia to daily torment, leading to her tragic demise. Her story underscores the importance of vigilance and compassion in protecting the vulnerable. Sylvia Marie Likens was born on January 3, 1949, into a struggling working-class family. Her parents, Lester and Betty Likens, worked in traveling carnivals to make ends meet, resulting in a transient lifestyle for their children. Sylvia, the third of 5 siblings, was known for her warm smile and caring nature, especially towards her younger sister, Jenny, who had polio. Sylvia's family faced constant financial instability, and the children often had to fend for themselves. Despite these hardships, Sylvia remained a hopeful and kind-hearted teenager, dreaming of a better future. She was particularly protective of Jenny, who walked with a limp due to her illness, and their bond was a testament to Sylvia's loving and nurturing spirit. In July 1965, Lester and Betty Likens decided to leave Sylvia and Jenny in the care of Gertrude Baniszewski while they traveled with the carnival. This arrangement was meant to provide the girls with stability, but it soon turned into a nightmare. Sylvia's life, once filled with dreams and hope, was about to take a dark and tragic turn. Gertrude Baniszewski, a single mother of 7, was thrust into infamy for her role in the tragic abuse and death of Sylvia Likens. Living in poverty and struggling with chronic illness and depression, Gertrude initially welcomed Sylvia and her sister Jenny into her home in exchange for financial support from their parents. However, as financial tensions escalated, Gertrude's demeanor towards Sylvia shifted drastically. What began as verbal reprimands soon escalated into physical abuse, with Gertrude's own children, particularly her eldest daughter Paula, becoming complicit in Sylvia's torment. Gertrude's home, once a place of supposed refuge, became a nightmarish landscape where Sylvia endured unimaginable suffering. The community's indifference allowed Gertrude's cruelty to flourish unchecked, ultimately culminating in Sylvia's tragic death on October 25, 1965. Gertrude Baniszewski's involvement in Sylvia's ordeal highlights the complexities of human behavior and the devastating consequences of unchecked cruelty. Her actions, driven by personal struggles and exacerbated by financial pressures, underscore the importance of vigilance and compassion in safeguarding vulnerable individuals from harm. In July 1965, Sylvia Likens and her younger sister Jenny found themselves entrusted to the care of Gertrude Baniszewski, a struggling single mother in Indianapolis. What started as a temporary arrangement soon turned into a descent into horror. Gertrude, initially welcoming, grew increasingly resentful over late payments from the Likens parents, unleashing her frustrations on Sylvia. As weeks passed, verbal reprimands escalated into physical abuse. Sylvia, at 16, bore the brunt of Gertrude's wrath. Exacerbated by the participation of Gertrude's children and their friends, the household became a cauldron of cruelty, with Sylvia enduring beatings, forced to eat spoiled food, and subjected to degrading tasks. The abuse, marked by sadistic punishments and escalating violence, isolated Sylvia and Jenny in a house of horrors. Gertrude's children and their peers, including Paula and Coy Hubbard, were encouraged to join in, creating a cycle of torment that Sylvia's younger sister, Jenny, witnessed in fear and helplessness. Despite Sylvia's pleas for help, the indifference of those outside the Baniszewski home allowed the abuse to continue unchecked. Sylvia's physical and emotional deterioration intensified, culminating in the horrifying climax on October 25, 1965, when Sylvia succumbed to her injuries, her spirit broken by the relentless cruelty she endured. The discovery of Sylvia's lifeless body the next day shocked the community and sparked a nationwide outcry. The subsequent investigation revealed the full extent of Sylvia's ordeal, leading to the arrest and trial of Gertrude Baniszewski and her accomplices. Sylvia's tragic story serves as a stark reminder of the darkness that can thrive when cruelty and neglect go unchecked, and the enduring importance of vigilance and compassion in protecting the vulnerable. The abuse Sylvia Likens endured under Gertrude Baniszewski's roof was a descent into unimaginable horror. Initially welcomed into what seemed a temporary refuge, Sylvia soon faced escalating torment. Verbal reprimands swiftly turned into physical assaults. With Sylvia bearing the brunt of Gertrude's frustrations, her body became a canvas of bruises and scars, testament to the relentless beatings and degrading punishments inflicted by Gertrude and her children. The cruelty extended beyond physical violence. Sylvia was forced to endure psychological torment, degraded with tasks meant to humiliate and break her spirit. Gertrude's children and their friends, including Paula Baniszewski's boyfriend and a neighbor, were encouraged to participate, turning Gertrude's home into a house of horrors where Sylvia became a target for sadistic games. The group dynamics amplified the abuse, each participant vying to outdo the others in their brutality. As Sylvia's suffering worsened, her younger sister Jenny also fell victim to threats and occasional beatings, perpetuating an atmosphere of terror and helplessness. Despite Sylvia's cries for help, visits from outsiders yielded no intervention, as the community remained indifferent to her plight. Her ordeal continued unabated, each day marking a new depth of cruelty, until Sylvia's fragile body could no longer withstand the abuse, leading to her tragic death on October 25, 1965. Jenny Likens, Sylvia's younger sister, faced the world of terror alongside her beloved sibling. Afflicted by polio, Jenny navigated life with a noticeable limp, making her a target of sympathy but also vulnerability. As Gertrude Baniszewski's cruelty unfolded, Jenny found herself ensnared in a nightmare she couldn't escape. Despite her own physical limitations, Jenny's heartache was compounded by her inability to shield Sylvia from escalating abuse. The psychological toll on Jenny was profound. Each day brought fresh horrors, leaving her trembling with fear and paralyzed by the threat of violence. She witnessed Sylvia's suffering firsthand, her heart breaking as she saw her sister's spirit erode under Gertrude's relentless torment. Jenny's cries for help went unanswered, the isolation and terror of their captivity deepening her sense of helplessness. Gertrude's manipulation extended to Jenny, using her sister's condition as a means to further control and intimidate both girls. Jenny's world became a constant battle to survive, caught between enduring her own torment and witnessing Sylvia's agony. Her inability to protect Sylvia haunted her, leaving scars that would linger long after their ordeal ended. Throughout the ordeal, Jenny clung to fleeting moments of hope, praying for rescue that seemed perpetually out of reach. Her loyalty to Sylvia never wavered, even as their shared suffering pushed her to the brink of despair. Jenny's helplessness mirrored Sylvia's anguish, a stark reminder of the innocence shattered by Gertrude's brutality. In the final days of Sylvia Likens' life, the abuse she endured escalated to unimaginable levels. Gertrude Baniszewski's cruelty knew no bounds, subjecting Sylvia to tortures that would leave her broken and emaciated. The house, which should have been a sanctuary, became a chamber of horrors where Sylvia's cries for help went unanswered. As her physical condition deteriorated, Sylvia's spirit remained remarkably resilient. Even as hope dwindled, she endured beatings, scalding baths, and branding, all orchestrated by Gertrude and carried out with the help of her children and her friends. The relentless torment left Sylvia unable to move, speak, or fight back. On October 25, 1965, Sylvia's frail body could no longer withstand the relentless abuse. She succumbed to her injuries, her life extinguished in the very place meant to protect her. Her death revealed the full extent of the horrors she had faced, marking the tragic end of a young girl who deserved so much more. The discovery of Sylvia's lifeless body exposed the dark reality that had been hidden within the Baniszewski home. It was a chilling reminder of the importance of vigilance and compassion, as well as the devastating consequences when society fails to protect its most vulnerable members. On October 26, 1965, the police were called to a small, dilapidated house in Indianapolis. Inside, they found the lifeless body of 16-year-old Sylvia Likens. Her emaciated frame bore the marks of prolonged and horrific abuse, her skin a canvas of bruises, burns, and cuts. This shocking discovery sent waves of disbelief and horror through the community. The officers quickly realized that Sylvia's death was no accident. Her younger sister, Jenny, whispered the chilling words that would unravel the truth. "Get me out of here and I'll tell you everything." As the investigation unfolded, the details of Sylvia's torture at the hands of Gertrude Baniszewski, her children, and their friends emerged, painting a picture of unthinkable cruelty. Gertrude Baniszewski, a woman Sylvia and Jenny's parents had trusted, became the central figure in the case. Neighbors and acquaintances, who had seen glimpses of Sylvia's suffering but failed to act, were filled with guilt and remorse. The community struggled to comprehend how such evil could have gone unnoticed for so long. The case garnered national attention, highlighting the grave failures of the social safety net meant to protect children like Sylvia. Her tragic death became a symbol of the need for greater vigilance and intervention in cases of child abuse. The legacy of Sylvia Likens serves as a haunting reminder of the consequences of inaction and the importance of safeguarding the vulnerable. The trial of Gertrude Baniszewski and her accomplices drew national attention, unveiling the full horror of Sylvia Likens' ordeal. Prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence of physical and psychological abuse, detailing how Sylvia was tortured and neglected until her tragic death. The courtroom heard harrowing testimonies from witnesses, including Sylvia's younger sister, Jenny, who bravely recounted the brutal acts she had witnessed. Gertrude Baniszewski was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison, while her daughter Paula received a second-degree murder conviction. The other accomplices, including Coy Hubbard and Richard Hobbs, faced the various charges and sentences for their roles in Sylvia's abuse. Despite the severity of their crimes, some argued that the punishments were not harsh enough to fit the atrocities committed. The trial revealed significant failures in the system, highlighting how the community and authorities missed numerous opportunities to save Sylvia. This case prompted a national discussion on child abuse, leading to reforms aimed at better protecting vulnerable children. Sylvia's story became a catalyst for change, emphasizing the importance of vigilance and intervention in preventing such tragedies. The legacy of Sylvia Likens lives on as a sobering reminder of the need for compassion, awareness, and action. Her suffering and death were not in vain. They served as a wake-up call to a society that must do better in safeguarding its most vulnerable members. By remembering Sylvia and her story, we honor her memory and strive to prevent future atrocities. Sylvia Likens' tragic death serves as a stark reminder of the evil that can exist in the world. Her story is not just about the horrific abuse she endured, but also about the failures of society to protect its most vulnerable. It's a call to action, urging us to be vigilant and proactive in safeguarding children and reporting any signs of abuse. Gertrude Baniszewski and her accomplices were brought to justice, but the scars left by their cruelty remain. The trial revealed the depths of human depravity and highlighted the importance of community awareness and intervention. Sylvia's life, though cut short, has had a lasting impact, prompting changes in child welfare laws and practices.
As we reflect on Sylvia's story, we must honor her memory by committing to prevent such tragedies in the future. It's a reminder that we all have a role to play in protecting the innocent and ensuring that no child suffers in silence. Let Sylvia Likens' legacy be one of hope and change, inspiring us to create a safer world for all children. Thank you for joining us in remembering Sylvia Likens. Her story is a powerful testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring fight for justice. May we never forget her and continue to advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves.